Hey there guys, what's up? Ragtter here, welcoming you back to the Pokemon trading card game online. I have more boosters that I want to open for you, a couple chests. The main reason I started grinding again was because I got another Generations booster for the Pokemon 20th anniversary. So I went hard on my grind and I got some more booster packs, and we'll be cracking those open tonight, so sit back, relax, and prepare for shinies. So that's a rare card. You can tell because I gotta flip it. And it's a Talonflame! So for 1 energy, you get Acrobatics, flip 2 coins, this attack does 30 more damage for each heads, and Jet Shoot. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is increased by 40. So this plays a lot like Talonflame does in the regular game, except it's not really that good. 30 for 1 energy and a potential for 90? That's pretty good. You could probably run this really well in a Trick Coin set, or Trick Coin deck, but the problem is this is a Stage 2 Pokemon, so you gotta evolve Fletchling, and then you gotta evolve Fletchinder to get this. So I don't think it's that good. It's a little too slow for what it wants to be, but hey, if you run a very fast aggressive fire deck, maybe you can make it work. And then we got a really neat Furfrou card. I've never seen it with this art before. It's got 90 HP with Tight Jaw. Flip a coin. If your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed for 20 damage, and Sharp Fang for 50. I'm pretty sure this is just an alt art for the regular Furfrou card, which is not outstanding, but you'll find it in, I think it's in a couple of these starter decks. So, not the best, but not the worst. It's a good starting card, I guess. Good to familiarize yourself with the game. So now we're going to open an X and Y base set just because we have it. You get these for logging in. Might as well see what else we can get from it. Actually, that's really good. Alright, so we got Malamar with 100 HP and Mental Panic, 1 energy for 30 damage. If the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your opponent's next turn, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. And Puncture, this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. The main reason to use this is to annoy your opponent with Mental Panic. It's not really a great card, but it's a pretty good gimmick card. So if you're running the kind of deck that you like to annoy your opponents with, then this is the card for you. Now here is the real prize of this pack. This is Aromatisse with 90 HP. As often as you like, during your turn, before you attack, you may move a Fairy-type energy attached to one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. So basically, if you run a Fairy energy damage deck, then you can adjust the energy values as need be to any of your Pokemon. So if one of your Pokemon is about to faint on the next turn, just take its energy away, and then attach it to a new Pokemon that you can bring out later. Did you just set up with your Mega Gardevoir? It's a little late into the game. Put some energy onto it so it can attack the next turn. This is a staple for any deck that runs Fairy-type energy. It's really, really good. Or at least it used to be. I don't know how good it is with all of the recent set changes, but when this card first came out, oh boy. Alright, or not when this card first came out. When Mega Gardevoir EX came out, this card was really, really good. And then we have Girder with 90 HP, and Pummel for 20, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage, and Hammer Arm, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. 3 energy for 60. This is a middle child card. It's got middle child syndrome. Can't really be very good at anything. Then we have Electrode with 90 HP, and Eerie Impulse. Flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and roll out for 40. I mean, it's a cool card. Again, a Trick Coin deck might see a use for this, but I don't really see the value beyond it having some pretty cool card art. And then we have a Herdier with Bite and Jump On. 450, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage. You'll see that a lot in the more common cards. And then we've got a Happy Zora. He's going on an adventure. A Metal-type energy. A Fennekin, looking just as pleased as the Zora. A very ferocious-looking Diglett. Didn't know Diglett could be so scary. And then actually, that's a very pretty card art for Fletchling. Very neat. Neat little pack. Alright, now we get to the good stuff, though. Phantom Forces has so many good cards in it. I can't wait. Come on, give me one of them. Give me something good. I need dupes of some. There are still some cards I don't have from this set. 2 rares again. Honchkrow and Swalot. Alright, so Honchkrow here has 100 HP and Hypnoblast. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, and it does 20. And Nightmare Mumbo. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, this attack does 60 more damage. For a Stage 1 Pokemon, 120 for 3, and part of that 3 can be solved by a double colorless energy card. That's pretty good. The problem here is that without an item card, you're relying on 1, the first attack of Hypnoblast, 2, your opponent staying asleep, and 3, Honchkrow surviving if your opponent wakes up. So all in all, not a great card, but the card art is awesome, and it's a pretty good kitchen top counter card, right? This is the kind of card you would play with your friends to annoy them. So if you're into that, then I think this card's pretty good, but competitively it's kind of weak. Then our reverse holo is a Swalot, or Swalot. It's got 111 HP, with Poison Gas for 2 energy. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and it does 30. And Swallow Up. If, before doing damage, your opponent's active Pokemon has fewer remaining HP than this Pokemon, this attack does 50 more damage. So if Swalot had more HP, this would probably be worth it, because then it could take an attack and then fire off this attack, but it doesn't. It can get knocked out by a lot of Pokemon EX, and then it can't really pick up the KO in return, so I don't really see a reason to use this. Now here is a card that you will use a lot, but never actually get to play. This Lampent, and I'm actually just going to ignore the Curse Trap, that's not worth it, because the only reason to run this is for the Night March. This attack does 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the Night March attack. This card is super smartly designed because it's a Stage 1 Pokemon, so you can put 4 of these into your deck, and you will discard them without another thought in the world. Because you're running 4 of these, that immediately gives 80 damage to whatever other Night March Pokemon you're powering up, or you can also use it to power up Vespiquen, or Flareon, who get similar boosts, if albeit less powerful, from Pokemon being in the discard pile. So this Lampent literally exists to be discarded, and, you know, it does the job perfectly. Then we have a Loudred with 90 HP, with Pound for 30 and Energy Press. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If it didn't cost 3 colorless energy, that could be pretty good. But it does, it's a Stage 1 Pokemon, and it's only got 90 HP, so this Loudred is not going to be sticking around for any extended period of time. It's going to get knocked out super easily. Then we have Robo Substitute, and this is actually one of the cooler cards, and one that I am not sad to get dupes of. I love this card. So it's got 30 HP, and you play this item card as if it were a 30 HP basic colorless Pokemon. At any time during your turn before you attack, you may discard it from play. It can't retreat, and if it's knocked out, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So what you can do is, you can put this up to stall out while your opponent... You stall out your opponent's attacks while they can't get any prize cards, while you put energy or mega evolutions or what have you onto your Pokemon. You waste a lot of their time, and you get set up in return. Like, this card is not a lose-lose. It's pretty much a win-win. And the argument that it takes up space on your bench is the decks that tend to use this don't really need Pokemon space on their bench, or they'll be using Skyfields to accommodate for this Pokemon, or this item card. So, definitely good, and it sees homes in a lot of different decks, but not every deck, bear in mind. Think carefully about the type of deck you're running before you put this in, because it is a passive card. This card does slow your own momentum as well. You have to act in order to get the most out of the Robo Substitute. Then we've got an adorable Dino. It's just sitting there climbing. It's not bothering anybody. But it's gotten off, and that's kind of dark. Got a Shrieking Whismur. It's actually funny that it ended up above the Loudred. I don't like Whismur. Whismur kind of creeps me out, but I don't know. There's something about this card art that kind of does it for me. It kind of makes me want to use one, but then I remember that it's a Whismur. Then we have another Fletchling card art. I don't really like this style. It's a little too cartoony. And the proportions feel... Not the proportions, the dimensions feel a little off. Like, it feels like there's not a lot of depth to the card. But hey, it's still a neat little card art for your book. Then we have Carablast, looking astounded that he's being photographed. I mean, come on, Carablast, you're famous. And then we have a very sly-looking Litleo. What are you up to, little guy? What are you plotting? Alright. Now, let's get the breakpoints going. Still tons of cards that I want from this, so please, breakpoint, give me something good. Hey. Alright, 1 rare this time. And it's a Shiftry. I've never seen this card before, actually. 140 HP. 2 energy for roll up. Flip 3 coins. If any of them are heads, your opponent reveals his or her hand, and then, for each heads, discard a card from your opponent's hand. That's mean. The problem I have with that is that it's slow. This is a stage 2 Pokemon, so you've got to evolve Seedot and then Nuzleaf to get this, and then it's just a 2 energy attack. Like, by the time this is... Well, actually, no, I guess by the time this comes out, it could be pretty useful, but... I don't know, I feel like by the time you get this out, you want to have that energy on another Pokemon. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe this Shiftry has some neat use. And then Otherworldly Return, put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand, 3 energy for 60. If that costs like 1 energy less, that would be like a perfect card. I mean, you can fulfill it with a double colorless energy, but do you want to put your double colorless energy on a Shiftry? There are other means of getting item cards, or are there? Have they gone out of rotation? I actually can't remember. Maybe this Shiftry is one of the only ways to get trainer cards out of your discard pile again. I know Versus Seeker is still in rotation, and that gets you supporter cards. I don't know. Maybe this Shiftry is better than I'm letting on. Our reverse holo is a Skorupi with Pin Missile. Flip 4 coins. This attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. And then we've got Reverse Valley. So, the long and short of it, you choose the way the card faces when you play it, and if you're on this side, your Dark-type Pokemon do 10 damage more with their attacks. If you're on that side, your Metal-type Pokemon, sorry, it's Metal-type in the trading card game, take 10 less damage. So, this is kind of one of the more underwhelming Stadium cards, but Dark and Metal are both pretty common in the meta right now. So, or at least they were. Again, I don't really know what the meta is like now that Breakpoint's out. But Dark has always been pretty common, so you can maybe make use of this, but I think, and expanded at least, Shadow Circle is still better, so I don't know, play with this as you will, see if it's good for your deck or not. Then we have Misty's Determination. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Basic deck thinning and a bit of hand thinning. This is really a pretty decent supporter card because it's like you get to draw a card and you get to discard a card from your hand, which a lot of decks really like that benefit. Mega Magnetric decks, so you can filter the electric energy back into your benched Pokemon. Fire types love to have fire type energy discarded. Night March, Vespiquen, Flareon, all these cards adore having more cards in the discard pile, and Misty's Determination does that very nicely. It lets you pick at your deck, gets you a deck shuffle, and it gets you another card. Can't really complain. And then you have Dunsparce with 60 HP, and Call for Family. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench, shuffle your deck afterwards, and then ram for 20. Just a general basic normal type Pokemon. And then we have, I hate this card. Every time this card comes up, it makes me feel bad. A confused Clefairy clearly being stalked by that Hypno. I hate it. A proud and mighty Furfrou walking down the street. No cares in the world. I love it. A happy little ducklet just swimming in a pond. Just want to give a little hug. A very determined looking Growlithe. Makes you wonder what he's battling. And then Slowpoke leading the pack of all the water types. Because Slowpoke is clearly the best. Alright, come on Breakpoint. You can do better than that, I know you can. Come on. Alright, 2 rares this time. Drapion and Garbodor. Alright, so this is not a stunning card to get, but it is a really good one to have. So, Garbodor has 100 HP and Garbatoxin. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon Tool card attached to it, each Pokemon in play, in each trainer's hand, and in each player's discard pile, has no abilities except for Garbatoxin. So, there are a lot of Pokemon with very annoying abilities, and Garbodor has the capability by just sitting on the bench to shut them down. I don't like Garbodor in the Pokemon games. It's ugly, and it's weird, and it doesn't make sense, and it's gross. And in this card, it looks like it's flipping you off. But Garbodor in the TCG is really good. Like, really, 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 really disruptive to your opponent. And it's definitely worth a spot in your deck if you are countered by a particular ability. So definitely be on the lookout for Garbodor. It might be just the card you need to get going. Then our reverse holo is a Drapion with 130 HP and Poison Claws. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned for 70 damage and 3 energy, and for 4 energy you can do Heavy Impact for 130. I've talked about this card a lot. It feels very inefficient for what it wants to be. And while I do like Drapion, I don't think this is a particularly good Drapion card. Then we have a Max Elixir. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. This is an excellent card for getting your momentum going in the early game, or maybe getting the ball rolling again in the late game if you're falling a bit behind. Either way, it's pretty easy to slot one or two of these into your deck as a tech card. You can't really go wrong with it. Then we have another Dunsparce, and we have a Delinquent. Discard any stadium card in play. If you do, your opponent discards 3 cards from his or her hand. It's usually worth running at least one of these into your deck. One of these can be very disruptive to your opponent's stadium, though they'll probably run multiple copies. You can take advantage of that by discarding from their hand and disrupting them in a very severe way. Or, if you want to use this more aggressively, let's say you don't need your stadium anymore, if you've got another copy of it, you can use your stadium as a sort of bomb to nuke 3 cards out of your opponent's hand. I like it a lot. I think this is a good card. I think you should probably put at least one into your deck just in case. And then we've got an Electabuzz looking fierce and mighty. It actually kind of looks like it's taking an electric type attack rather than firing one off. Then we've got an adorable Petilil wandering through the forest in the flowers. Oh, I actually think we have a path like that near where I live. Very pretty in the summer. A sad, weirdly drawn little Trubbish. I don't even know what to say about that. Hang in there, buddy. We've got a majestic looking Skrelp actually, which is pretty weird considering it's a gross, wrinkly seahorse, but it actually looks pretty nice here. All the colors are very pretty. And we've got Minecraft Numel, one of my favorite cards. Alright, last breakpoint. Come on. Something good. Something good. Another Reverse Valley. And a Staryu, my man. Ooh! Suicune. 120 HP and Wind Charm. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon. Existing effects are not removed. So, I have actually been wanting this card because I think Suicune is actually a very good answer to the Pokemon Seismitoad. Because you can put Seismitoad on your active Pokemon slot, and you can basically just fire away with the Quaking Punches and disable your opponent's item cards. Suicune here, however, and I think this is how this card interaction works. Suicune here should be able to stop that effect from happening, so you can still play item cards while Seismitoad is active, and Aurora Beam, for 3 energy from a basic Pokemon, actually does a ton of damage. 110, again, from a basic Pokemon, and this is not a Pokemon EX either, is not to be underestimated. You can still power that up with a Muscle Band, and you can give it the Fighting Belt that gives it more HP and a bit more attack. Honestly, I am pleased as a pickle to see this Suicune card, and it's got a neat foil, the card art's awesome. This is just generally a good card. I definitely want to tech this into my water decks in the future. I think it's worth it. And then we have another Reverse Valley, and a Durant. With Mountain Munch, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, 1 for 10, and discarding a card, not really too bad for a basic Pokemon. And Scrape Down. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, discard the top 4 cards of your opponent's deck. I actually can't help but wonder if people are going to try to run a mill deck around Durant. If they are, I would be very interested to see it. Let me know if you've played any games where you outdecked your opponent with a Durant. And then we have another middle child card. Bayleaf with Body Slam, flip a coin if your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed, and Vine Whip for 30. Had a cough drop earlier and I just hiccuped the last bit of it up. And then we have another Dunsparce. A very fabulous looking Drowsy. Seriously, why is it so sparkly? You know the story. My man Staryu, I love Staryu so much. Look at it! Look at it, it's so pretty and it's having a good time under the water. I want one so bad. A very ferocious looking Glameow, very cool under the blood moon. It's up to mischief that night. And of course, Minecraft Numel. Can't go wrong with that. And then, the reason I made this video, another Pokemon Generations booster. Something good, something great, give me a reason to celebrate. That's a lot of energy. Ooh, Jirachi. Give me something good. A Dodrio. With 90 HP, rather, it has the ability Retreat Aid. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your active Pokemon's retreat cost is 2 less. That is not bad. See, I'm a bit dubious to that, because being a Stage 1 Pokemon means you have to commit Doduo as well. But that might just make it worth it, because instead of having to run Float Stones, you could run Dodrio instead to retreat your Pokemon out. And that could honestly make or break a game for you. I don't really know. Basically, the reason I think this could be good is because you could reserve the item slot on your Pokemon, or the tool slot rather, on your Pokemon for a Muscle Band, or for a Fighting Fury Belt, or for a Hard Charm, or a Sparkling Robe. So, I don't really know. This Dodrio might be good, and it might not be. I'd have to play with it to be sure, though. Then we have Ponyta on top of a mountain. What are you doing up there, Ponyta? Get down. For a Reverse Holo, it's got Agility, does 10 damage, flip a coin, if heads prevent all effective attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn, and Flame Tail for 20. Neat little basic Pokemon. Then we have a Jirachi. Oh, this is a neat card. Or at least in terms of appearance. Let's read it. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward, and Heart Sign for 50. So, that's okay. It's a basic Pokemon, it costs 1 Psychic. You're not really going to be using this Jirachi to do damage, but if your deck functions off of specific cards, and you might not have an Ultra Ball handy, I don't know, maybe you could tech this Jirachi in and make it work. I don't know if it's the most worth it, but it's definitely very neat, and Jirachi's cool, so you can't really go wrong with it. And then Metapod. Metapod has Adaptive Evolution. You can evolve this Pokemon during the first turn, or the first turn you play it, and Harden. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon would be damaged by an attack, prevent that attack's damage to this Pokemon if that damage is 60 or less. So if Metapod would be knocked out, it's still going to get knocked out. If it's not going to be knocked out, then it'll stay around. Middle child card. Then we have a Revitalizer. Put 2 Grass-type Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. That's pretty neat, actually. That is a very cool effect. Wait. That works really well in a Vespiquen deck. Ooh, I'm excited to see that. I love my Vespiquen deck. And then we have the prettiest little Esper in the whole wide world with its twinkle. We have Paris, hiding from the rain, which doesn't make sense because Paris gets dry skin. It should love the rain. And then these neat energies. These are very cool. I think these are exclusive to the Pokemon Generations boosters, and they've just got different art on them. Very good for showing off. So, that was this round of boosters. This was about the size of the last one, so I think I did pretty well par for the course. And if you guys have enjoyed these booster openings, then please let me know with a like and a comment down below telling me just how much fun you've had. Also, be sure to give me some luck next time so we can open a break card or a Pokemon EX, because those are always fun to open, and we didn't get one this time. Which is a little disappointing, but I got that Suicune card I was looking for, so I'm happy about that, and that's really all I need. So I will see you guys next time when we return to the Pokemon trading card game online. Until then, be sure to take care and have a good one. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye-bye!